this is a training. It's gonna go. It's gonna come up pretty soon. I'm very excited. We are going to have amazing participants from Romania and of course international. Is there a certification? Will people in the end of this training, will they get a certification? And if so, what is that and how does that work?
Yes, it's very warranted because there's a lot of work that's achieved in a very short space of time. Because
Hmm.
as therapists, we go within and allow things to emerge. So there are 2 days, and I actually call them Certificate 1 and Certificate 2.
Okay.
Um, the process of Certificate 3, well, I was going to begin Certificate 3s a couple of years ago in some of the places I've been, but again, that funny old disease. So there are 2 certificates that we present that will allow your clients to see that you have done appropriate work. So the
Hmm.
Certificate 1 is the introduction. Certificate 2 is the practice, what we call the practice. We don't call it a practitioner certificate because if you could learn a practice in 2 days, then it's just something fairly directive. And they, as I say,
Hmm.
they're great. A lot of people take time to really get in the grip. I went to see Ernie. I was able to practice it after seeing him at the Evolution of Psychotherapy conference, but I went back the next year and the next year and the next year,
Yeah.
and so I learned. I kept learning and improving as we went. So there'll be 2 certificates which will be able to give yourself the confidence that you've gone through the work, but also that you can display and show your clients that you've had superior instruction from me.
So, Richard, what is this good for? Because many people say, this sounds like an amazing technique or method or whatever you want to call it, but how do I know when I should use it? What is it best for? Oftentimes we hear, trainers and experts like yourself saying, you can actually use this for anything, right? But what would be the top 5 uses that you've had apply this to? What are the case situations mostly pertaining to this method or the other way around? Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is annoying when people say this technique can be used for anything. Of course, this technique can be used for anything. Well, but because it is the client, because it's what the client brings out. But uh, now, remembering that I am both a psychotherapist as well, but I'm also rather expert in this work. So I tend to get the most difficult clients. I get the clients that everybody else can't manage. So my supervisees
Hmm.
will say, I'm having a client and it's very difficult. But my supervisees use this material with their clients quite well and very successfully. They use it certainly with fundamental habitual work and habits,
Hmm.
things like smoking, things like gambling. Now, drug addiction is another story, but it is useful in that. It is excellent for people with anxiety. I've used it most successfully with people who are having an anxiety attack, who are in a
Hmm.
panic attack, because we've been able to do that. But then we've been able to explore what is raising that. It's also excellent for people in other affective disorders like depression. It's wonderful for obsessive, those people who get stuck in circular motions,
Hmm.
where they're obsessively turning this off or turning the gas off or checking lights or their keys. It's wonderful. Here's a surprising one, and it doesn't come up often, but it's wonderful for recovering memory. Where did I
Hmm.
put the keys? Where did I leave that thing? Where did I leave the other? I had someone who lost a very, very important set of jewelry,
Hmm.
and it was actually quite a psychic experience because it turned out that her husband had hid the jewelry. And he had done this in coercive control. It was a very
Wow.
unpleasant marriage experience. But we were able to intuitively, she was able to really tap into whatever he was thinking, and she
Yeah.
knew where he would hide it. And that was why she couldn't find it, because she thought she'd lost it, and she was able to. So these unusual things. And the final one is when someone doesn't know or doesn't want to speak about it. So that's probably, I think there's about 5 in there that I rattled off.
Yeah, awesome. So have you, for instance, had many clients coming with, I don't know, smoking, that you've been using this successful with, or
so my supervisees have been using it in that area. They will mix it up a little bit. They'll do maybe a traditional type of directive induction, but as I say, my friend who was working with parts, and he began with parts, but then he shifted to the mirroring hands. You know, you got to trust. You got to go with the process that you trust. So sometimes it's the process, you use a process that you're familiar with, but you'll use the approach, the responsive approach, some of the language principles that are in it. So not only is it a practice you can use on very many different things, but it's an approach that you can apply to very many different things as well. So that is probably the way. So I have very, very difficult clients, but I've had it with eating disorders, with smoking, with panic disorders, with just negative thoughts,
pain.
All these fundamental pain, particularly pain a lot. It's wonderful for pain, because it highlights your coping mechanisms.
So everyone, if you are looking to join this training, make sure to watch the buttons below this video or the description there. See all of the details and make sure to join us and join this live class, this live training with Richard Hill. He will spill all the beans. He'll share all his secrets, even those he doesn't know he knows, and. he will do this a one-of-a-kind training, and we are very excited and very much looking forward to seeing you in the training. So Richard, again, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful presentation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you live and learn directly from you.
Thank you so much, Eugen. And as Ernie and I say, this is not just a practice. This is actually a way of life, and you live in the way of the mirroring hands approach. And it's a pretty damn good way to live.
Awesome. All right, everyone, let's see you in the class. Check that description below, check the buttons below, sign up, and we'll see you in the training.